Welcome back to the channel, movie enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the explosive world of Man on Fire, the gritty thriller that will have you on the edge of your seat. The movie kicks off in Latin America, a place grappling with rampant kidnappings. John Creasy, a former member of the FBI Special Forces, travels to Mexico to meet his old friend, Paul Rayburn. John, once renowned for his exceptional skills in tracking and eliminating high-value targets, had a stellar reputation as a top-notch professional. However, after a personal tragedy, he found himself aimless. When Paul asks John about his current activities, John casually mentions doing nothing. Paul, aware of John's capabilities, suggests that many people in the city could use a skilled bodyguard, hinting that John could fill that role. He introduces John to Samuel Ramos, a wealthy automaker in Mexico City, whose young daughter Lupita needs a bodyguard for her kidnapping insurance policy to become effective. In a plush office, Samuel Ramos and his lawyer Jordan Calfas discuss the challenges faced by Ramos's automotive empire, including the state of the market, staggering family debts, and the pervasive kidnappings in Mexico. John is then interviewed by Samuel, who reviews his profile and discovers John's past work for the CIA. Impressed by John's background, Samuel questions why he is working as a bodyguard when he could pursue a better job. John reveals that his struggles with alcohol have affected his reflexes, making him unfit for government work. Despite this, Samuel decides to hire John and takes him to his house to meet his wife, Lisa. Upon meeting Lupita, Samuel's daughter, John is given a tour of her room and the house. Lupita, affectionately called Pita, shares that John is her fifth bodyguard, expressing a hope that he won't leave like the others. As they spend time together, Lupita, sensing John's deep sadness, names her favorite teddy bear after him, calling it Crazy Bear. While in Pita's room, the parrot makes noise, and John, attempting to focus, opens the cage, letting it fly away. The next day, John begins his duties as Lupita's bodyguard, accompanying her to school. During the ride, Lupita tries to engage in conversation with John, but he responds unenthusiastically. At school, Pita invites John inside, introducing him to her teacher, who observes John's troubled demeanor. The teacher advises him to read the Bible, unaware that John is already familiar with it. As Pita attends class, John waits outside and picks her up afterwards, where she continues to ask him questions. When Lupita persistently asks questions, John, frustrated, tells her that he is there to do a job and prefers to focus on that rather than chatting. Lupita is hurt by John's abrupt response. Upon returning home, Lisa, noticing the tension, inquires about John's first day with Lupita. John, anticipating her concern, emphasizes that his role is to protect Lupita, not to be her friend, leaving Lisa worried about Lupita's feelings. That night, unable to escape his haunted past, John turns to alcohol in an attempt to numb his emotions. However, it only exacerbates his distress, pushing him to the point of contemplating suicide. He reaches for the bullet he always keeps with him, intending to end his suffering. In an unexpected turn of events, the gun misfires, leaving him unharmed. Haunted by his demons, John steps out into the rainy streets, reaching out to his friend Paul. As he stands in the downpour, he notices Lupita, her face filled with sadness. To distract himself, John takes Lupita swimming the next day and treats her mother to a day at the salon. However, as they drive down the road, John becomes aware of a car closely following them. John, keeping an eye out for trouble, had wisely noted down the license plate number of a suspicious car. Later, he takes Pita to her school and supports her in a swimming competition. Even though she finishes third, Pita expresses her doubt about ever winning. John reassures her, explaining that she swims faster than others but takes more time to jump into the water. Determined to help her overcome this fear, John starts training with Lupita every day, pushing her to improve. With John's support, Lupita's swimming skills get much better. On the day of the race, Pita's parents are unable to attend, but John is there cheering her on. Over time, John develops a strong bond with Pita, caring for her as if she were his own daughter. When Pita wins a competition, they both find joy and happiness. One day, while John is taking Pita to piano lessons, he notices something unusual. There are police cars and the same suspicious car with the license plate that had been following them. Realizing the danger, John tells Pita to run. A fierce gunfight ensues, and John manages to eliminate 4 attackers, including the fake police officers. However, he is critically wounded, and Lupita is abducted by the attackers despite John's brave efforts to protect her. As John recovers in the hospital, he faces police custody for supposedly shooting 2 officers. The kidnapping case, which had gained public attention, turned out to be a fabrication by corrupt police officers trying to improve their image. However, not everyone is convinced by the official statement. Reporter Mariana Guerrero raises questions, pointing out that the implicated policemen were off duty and had a history of corruption. To protect John from the corrupt police, AFI agent Miguel Manzano relocates him to a veterinary clinic. The Voice, the leader of the kidnapping ring, demands a $10 million ransom from Samuel. Despite Samuel complying with the help of Police Lieutenant Victor Fuentes, the exchange is thwarted by an unexpected party. The money is seized, and the person responsible for the exchange is killed. Feeling deceived, the kidnapper ends negotiations, leaving Lupita's fate uncertain. Lisa desperately tries to negotiate with the thief over the phone, but her efforts are in vain. The thief coldly informs her that it's too late, and there's no turning back. The situation becomes increasingly dire for Lupita. In the hospital, Manzano and Rayburn decide to secretly move John to a safer location, fearing for his life. When they arrive, Manzano shows John pictures, hoping he recognizes the individuals involved. However, John doesn't recognize anyone. Manzano then reveals a shocking truth. The corrupt policemen are part of a larger organization known as La Hermandad, a union of corrupt officers and criminals committing crimes in Mexico. John, determined to seek justice, returns to the crime scene to look for clues. Mariana warns him about the powerful brotherhood to which the kidnappers belong. She offers her help and shares the information she gathered during her investigation. John promises Lisa, Lupita's mother, that he will kill everyone responsible for Lupita's abduction. Going through Lupita's diary, John discovers her deep affection for him. He finds the car number written in her diary and contacts Mariana for details. Tracking down the owner of the car, Jorge Ramirez, John interrogates him after some initial resistance. Ramirez reveals that the mastermind behind the kidnapping is a man known as The Voice. John heads to the club mentioned by Ramirez, confronting 3 kidnappers. He kills Jersey Boy and another criminal, recovering an incriminating ATM card and finding another kidnapped girl. John contacts Mariana, urging her to come to the club, and she reveals that Lieutenant Fuentes is part of the Brotherhood. Manzano interviews Paul, who describes John as an artist of death, and warns that John, determined for revenge, will spare no one involved in the kidnapping. The pursuit of justice intensifies as John uncovers more about the corrupt organization. Mariana convinces Manzano to join John in his fight against the kidnappers. John intercepts Fuentes' motorcade, using a rocket-propelled grenade to abduct the officer and place a bomb on him. Fuentes confesses that his officers ambushed the ransom drop, but most of the money was stolen by Jordan Calfus, Samuel's lawyer. After killing Fuentes, John searches Calfus's home, finding his decapitated body and evidence leading to Samuel. Confronting Samuel, John calls his wife, Lisa, who learns of Samuel's involvement in Lupita's kidnapping. Samuel confesses to arranging the kidnapping to claim the insurance payout to pay his father's debts. When Fuentes interfered, Samuel blamed Calfus for Lupita's death and killed him. Lisa, unaware of Samuel's role, urges John to kill her husband, or she'll do it herself. John leaves Samuel with a gun and the bullet from his suicide attempt, and a remorseful Samuel takes his own life. Mariana and Manzano trace the ATM card to the Voice's wife, obtaining a photo of the Voice's real identity. Despite threats from the Brotherhood, Mariana publishes the photo, and John receives the address. Taking the Voice's wife and his brother Aurelio prisoner, John is shot in the chest, but learns that the ringleader's real name is Daniel Sanchez. John calls Daniel, threatening his family, and Daniel reveals that Lupita is alive, proposing a trade. Instructing Lisa to join him at the exchange, John reunites with Lupita in the middle of an overpass. He assures her of his love before sending her to her mother. John and Aurelio are taken by Daniel's men, and John succumbs to his wounds, dying happily with a sense of satisfaction. Manzano tracks down Daniel and shoots him dead during the arrest. The pursuit of justice concludes with John's sacrifice and the downfall of the kidnappers. The movie ends here.